A group of exhausted men trudge through thick mud in a forest clearing. One of them stumbles when his shoe falls apart in the mud. As he tries to fix it, a guard suddenly appears behind him. Without hesitation, the soldier lashes him with a whip and orders him to stand. The man's name is Solomon. Limping in pain, Solomon joins the others inside a large pit where dozens of prisoners are digging deeper into the earth. All of them wear the same worn clothing. All of them are Jewish prisoners being forced into labor. One of the men, Michael, notices Solomon's torn shoe. Quietly, he hands him a piece of cloth to wrap around his foot so the cold won't destroy his toes. Another prisoner named Wolf tries to lighten the moment. "Don't worry," he whispers. "We'll find you another shoe before we leave." But suddenly asks a strange question. "Where did you hide it?" It becomes clear they're planning something. An escape. The men whisper carefully while continuing to dig. Their idea is to escape during a transport and make their way to Kowo. Someone says the Russians might arrive in the spring, but another prisoner shakes his head. "We won't survive until the end of the week." The risk is enormous. If the guards discover the plan, every single one of them will be executed. But for these men, waiting might be even worse. Suddenly, Wolf deliberately snaps the handle of his shovel. He walks up to the guards pretending to apologize and asking for another tool so he can keep working. The soldiers immediately begin beating him, but the beating is part of the plan. While the guards are distracted, another prisoner named Monique quietly moves toward the pile of dirt near the pit. Hidden beneath the soil is something important. He reaches into the hole and retrieves it. The guards laugh at Wolf. "If you want to work," one of them says mockingly, "you'll dig with your hands." Luckily, a messenger arrives moments later, ordering the men to stop working and return. Wolf's sacrifice worked. They got what they needed. The prisoners are marched away from the pit through a forest filled with dead trees. Everyone is exhausted, limping from injuries and hunger. Wolf whispers to Solomon. Tonight, in the truck, Solomon looks at him in disbelief. "You're crazy." But Wolf explains the plan. They now have a knife. During the transport back to the camp, they will cut open the canvas side of the truck and jump out. One of the men asks the obvious question. "And after that, where do we go?" Wolf explains there is a town called Graybo, a few kilometers away across the river. Even though it's now a Jewish ghetto, he knows the local rabbi there. Michael hesitates. "If we escape, they'll kill everyone here." But then he says something haunting. "They're going to kill everyone anyway. No one even knows if they will survive the day. They cannot just wait for the Russians. No one is coming to save them." Solomon still hesitates. "We just need to hold on a little longer." But the prisoner snaps. "Was burying your parents and sister not enough? If we want to live, we have to stop being afraid." Solomon quietly responds. "And what if we only want to survive?" Before anyone can answer, the guards yell for them to stop talking. The prisoners are brought to a compound with several buildings. Guards order them to remove their hats and line up. A Nazi officer asks which departments they work in and sends Michael inside. Another guard violently strikes one of the prisoners as a warning. The officer continues his instructions. If the prisoners steal anything, try to escape, or even speak to each other, there will be consequences. Their job is simple. Collect the belongings of incoming transports and move them inside the building. No talking, no eye contact, just work. Moments later, a truck arrives. Inside are men, women, and children. The guards smile and tell them something chilling. "You are safe now." A senior officer greets the new arrivals. He speaks calmly, almost kindly. He says he understands the suffering the Jewish community has endured since the beginning of the war. The ghettos, the hunger, the disease. But he assures them that their suffering is finally over. They have been selected for honest work at another factory location. They will receive food and housing. However, before they travel, they must take a shower. The officer explains the typhus has spread through the ghettos and they cannot risk infecting the workers, so their clothes and belongings will be disinfected. One of the new arrivals suddenly recognizes Solomon. The man introduces himself as Aaron from Kowo. His son Moish was sent to this place 2 weeks earlier. Aaron asks Solomon if he has seen him, but before Solomon can respond, a guard interrupts and orders Aaron to move inside. Solomon and Wolf carry Aaron's belongings down into a lower floor. While there, Wolf secretly steals a pencil from the storage room. Soon after, the prisoners begin collecting the clothes of the new arrivals. The people stand in a line, half-dressed, walking towards something they don't yet understand. After leaving the building, Solomon and Wolf suddenly hear screaming. The people who entered moments earlier are being forced into a sealed truck. Everyone is pushed inside except one woman. A guard decides she is too beautiful to be killed yet. The truck door slams shut. The screaming continues from inside. Then, a soldier attaches fires a hose from the truck's exhaust pipe directly into the sealed compartment. The engine starts, and the prisoners are forced to walk behind the truck as it drives into the forest. For the entire journey, the screams never stop, until suddenly they do. The truck finally stops near the same pit the prisoners dug earlier. When the door is opened, thick smoke pours out. Inside are dozens of bodies. The commander even shoots anyone who still shows signs of movement. The prisoners are then ordered to remove the bodies and throw them into the pit. And during this horrific task, Michael sees something that completely breaks him. Among the bodies being buried, he recognizes his wife Clara and his children. Overwhelmed with grief, Michael begs the guards to shoot him too, but the officer refuses. You can still work. Michael says he has nothing left to live for, but the work continues. After finishing the burial, the prisoners march back toward the camp. Along the road, Polish civilians appear holding a Jewish man they found hiding nearby. He had approached them asking for food. A guard casually pays them money, then executes the man in front of everyone. The prisoners are forced to pick up the body and continue walking. Back at the camp, they receive their daily meal, potato peels floating in water. Meanwhile, the officers enjoy a feast nearby. Michael accidentally bumps into someone and drops his food. He doesn't even react, but Solomon quietly shares his portion with him. Monique explains the escape plan in more detail. Tomorrow, they must all be inside the transport truck. They will cross the river and head toward the town, but they must avoid the roads. And above all, they cannot trust the Polish civilians. The prisoners are suddenly ordered to line up outside the building. The commander reads the daily report. 9 transports arrived today, 823 bodies from Koło alone. But Berlin demands more efficiency, at least 12 transports per day. To entertain himself, the officer forces the prisoners to do push-ups. While moving, Monique's torn pocket reveals something hidden inside, the stolen knife. It falls onto the ground. The guards immediately grab him. Monique knows what's about to happen, but instead of begging, he laughs and spits in the commander's face. The officer calmly orders the execution. Monique is killed with the very knife he had hidden. The guards aren't done. They bring out the woman they spared earlier and force a prisoner to play the violin. Exhausted prisoners are forced to dance, barefoot, injured, starving. The guards fire their guns into the air just to scare them, but one shot accidentally kills the woman. The commander becomes furious, not because she died, but because it was a waste. Then, the guards place glass bottles on top of the prisoners' heads. They begin using them for target practice. Some shots shatter the bottles, others kill the men. When it's Michael and Solomon's turn, their bottles explode safely. But when Wolf steps forward, he tries to give Solomon last instructions for the escape. The gun fires. The bullet hits Wolf in the throat. He collapses. With his final strength, Wolf hands Solomon the pencil he stole earlier, his last contribution to the plan. The surviving prisoners are locked inside a filthy room. Some believe no one is coming to help them. Their families are already gone, but Solomon refuses to give up. As long as they are alive, there is still hope. He begins telling his story. The Nazis once promised his family jobs and food if they left the ghetto, but that journey ended here. That same day, Solomon buried his parents and his 4 sisters. He says they must escape, not just for themselves, but to warn others. Before sleeping, Solomon takes out the pencil Wolf gave him and begins writing the names of those who died. Wolf, Monique, Jacob, Joseph, Motley. Michael adds the names of his wife Clara and his children. Everyone in the room begins remembering the dead, so their names will not disappear. The next day, a new transport arrives. The prisoners are loaded into the truck. Solomon prepares to cut the canvas, but suddenly Goldman stands up. He walks toward the guards and asks for a cigarette. They mock him, but give him one. Then, another prisoner asks for one too. Together, they block the guard's view. Goldman signals Solomon. Now, the canvas is cut. Solomon and Michael jump from the truck. The guards immediately shout and open fire. The 2 men sprint through the forest. Bullets fly past them. They leap over a barbed wire fence and keep running. Finally, they reach a river. They hesitate. The freezing water could kill them, but there is no other choice. They jump in. After struggling through the freezing current, the 2 men finally crawl onto the opposite bank. Michael realizes he has been shot in the leg. Luckily, the bullet passed through. Solomon believes he broke his leg jumping from the truck. For a moment, they laugh. Despite everything, their plan actually worked. They continue through the forest. At one point, they encounter a wolf. Both men freeze. Solomon quietly grabs a nearby log in case it attacks, but the animal simply watches them and disappears into the trees. Later, they reach a road. German soldiers search nearby. The two men hide behind fallen logs while patrols pass only meters away. Eventually, they cross the road and continue toward the forest. They eventually reach a farmhouse. Inside a barn, they hide. A woman exits the house to fetch water. Her husband soon arrives on a motorcycle. He is a Polish soldier allied with the Nazi authorities. When the woman opens the barn door, she discovers Solomon and Michael. Terrified, she runs back to the house. Solomon grabs a scythe, preparing to fight. But moments later, the woman returns. Instead of soldiers, she brings coats belonging to her husband, Nazi coats, for disguise. She also gives them bread. Before leaving, she quietly says, "May God be with you." Solomon and Michael steal the motorcycle and begin riding toward the town. At one point, they encounter a group of German soldiers with a stuck truck. Because of the coats, they are mistaken for fellow soldiers. An officer even asks them to help push the vehicle out of the mud. Afterward, he questions Michael's injured leg. Solomon quickly lies, saying they are railway workers heading to repair tracks in Kładowa. The officer offers them a ride. Solomon declines, saying they must fix the motorcycle tire first. Finally, the soldiers let them leave. They ride away, free for now. By late afternoon, they reach the town. They slip through a hidden gap in a wooden wall. Inside lies a Jewish ghetto. Families live there in desperate conditions. No one outside the camps knows what is truly happening. They ask a local man where they can find a rabbi who once knew Wolf. The man lets them inside his house. When they say they came from Chelmno, the man reveals something heartbreaking. His own son and family were sent there for work. Solomon and Michael say they have never seen them. No one here knows the truth yet. The man directs them to the rabbi's house, second house on the street, Blue Gate. After narrowly avoiding a patrol, they finally reach the rabbi's house. Inside, several Jewish families live and work together. The rabbi offers them water and food. They eat desperately. The rabbi believes Chelmno is a labor camp, but Solomon tells him the truth. It's not a labor camp. It's an extermination camp. The room goes silent. Solomon explains everything. The trucks, the gas, the mass graves. They buried entire communities with their own hands. A Jewish doctor arrives and begins treating Michael's wounds. The rabbi struggles to believe what he's hearing. How can an entire population be murdered like this in the 20th century? Solomon insists. This is happening. He begs the rabbi to spread the message. Warn the Jewish communities. Warn the world. At first, the rabbi refuses. He says spreading such rumors would cause panic. But Solomon shows him the list he wrote. Names of the dead. Thousands of them. "Look at me," Solomon says, "and tell me you don't believe me." Finally, the rabbi understands. Solomon asks the rabbi to write everything down. He is too weak to continue writing himself. The rabbi takes the paper and pen. Together, they begin recording the testimony. The camp began operating on December 8, 1941. The first transport from Kowo arrived that day. More than 700 people were killed immediately. Solomon struggles to continue speaking. The rabbi gently stops him. "We will record everything. This report will reach the underground, and from there, it will reach London." He makes a promise. The world will not remain silent. The world will tremble. Solomon quietly thanks him, and for the first time since escaping the camp, there is hope that the truth might finally be heard.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if you want more videos like this, check out the other videos on the channel. See you in the next video.